Attention listener, if you can hear this, then you've tuned in to our top secret radio frequency. But not to be alarmed. Kick back, relax, and enjoy. We're talking about Marvel and DC, but they don't have it all. At Star Wars, that's easy, but you know who to call. I'm talking about ZaneMan and Jonni Boy. The powers overflow. With a master plan they will deploy on the Hero Chat Show.
Welcome to the Hero Chat Show, where we'll share every 2 weeks segments such as At the Movies, a new movie that we've seen, Watching TV, a new TV show that we're watching. We're gaming together. That'll be next week, a video game we're playing. And this week at the Comic-Con, we have visited. And sometimes we have a special guest, mostly sharing from DC, Marvel, and Star Wars. I'm Jonni Boy.
I'm ZaneMan.
Do we want to get right into the movie? We are going back in the archives to look at a few things that we've seen previous.
Yeah, we have to do that next week, too.
Yeah. So we're waiting on Marvel's Entertainment She-Hulk Attorney at Law, and we are waiting on movies to come out. They've canceled a bunch of DC movies.
They shifted all the Marvel movies around.
Yeah, they shifted all the Marvel movies around. But why don't we go ahead and get into the movie?
All right.
It's the Hero Chat Show at the movies.
Today, 60 years ago, Amazing Fantasy number 15 had the appearance of this character from Marvel Entertainment.
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man does whatever a Spider-Man does.
It does whatever. Spider-Man is doing whatever a spider does. Because if Spider-Man was basing himself off Spider-Man, then that would be probably like Miles Morales, I think.
But 60 years old today, celebrating a birthday, you have one of those Amazing Fantasy number 15s with the first appearance of him. You're probably as old as the first Spider-Man.
You can't believe how long Spider-Man's been going on, especially with 3 Spider-Man movies and then 2 Spider-Man movies and then 3 Spider-Man movies.
Yeah, there's a lot of Spider-Man movies out there, and today we're going to talk about the latest in the trilogy of movies. We only got 2 the second go-round. They were working on a third, but they canceled it. So this is Marvel Studios' Spider-Man No Way Home. It's also Columbia Pictures. The release date was December 17th, 2021. We went back in the archives. They are going to re-release this with extra footage. I'm not sure if it's already out in the theaters or it's something that's forthcoming, but you can look for that.
It was called Spider-Man No Way Home because he couldn't get back home.
True, and all of the titles in this Spider-Man trilogy have home in the title at some point. Homecoming.
Yeah.
Second one was Far From Home.
Yeah, he was pretty far from it.
And this one is No Way Home.
Yeah, because he couldn't get back home.
So we'll see if the next set of trilogies has home in it or if they use a different word. Underoos, Tom Holland as Peter Parker and MCU Spider-Man. Then we have Zendaya as MJ.
Never mind, just keep going.
Sherlock Holmes, Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange. Jacob Batalon as Ned Leeds. Andrew Garfield as Peter Parker, Amazing Spider-Man, and Tobey Maguire as Peter Parker, the original Spider-Man.
You just spoiled the entire movie. We didn't even do a spoiler one.
I know we didn't even do a spoiler one, but we figured it's been out long enough. You've seen it. If you don't know, we just ripped the Band-Aid off. We spoiled it for you.
Yeah, but you can't say things like that. You can't just say like Dumbledore dies.
That's true. Anyway, there's 3 Spider-Men.
Wow.
And they're all pointing at one another like they did in the meme.
In the cartoon meme. It's like the first thing that they did.
I don't like the numbering system that they use in this Spider-Man because the MCU Spider-Man, Tom Holland, is number 1. Tobey Maguire as the original Spider-Man is number 2. And then Andrew Garfield as the Amazing Spider-Man is number 3. I really think they should have Tobey Maguire 1, Andrew Garfield 2, and Tom Holland as 3.
Yeah, for people that didn't watch those movies, it would have been a little strange because they haven't been like following those ones. Tom Holland being the first Spider-Man makes more sense to them because it's the first one that they had seen and it's in that continuation of series.
I guess you're right. I just still don't agree with it. We have the same director for this one. John Watts came back to direct this one. Not sure if he's doing the next set of trilogies. He backed out of the Fantastic Four, which they paid a little homage to in Far From Home at the very end, where they basically sold the building and people think that it's the Baxter building now.
Yeah. At the end of that movie, you can see in the background, it's like a little construction sign. It says 1, 2, 3, and like 4 is like circled or something.
Yeah, so there was all kinds of pushing to the next movie that John Watts was supposed to direct, which is a Fantastic Four. But we'll get that movie in Phase 6, the new Phase 6. That's the movie that's going to be there, and they've put a couple of Avenger movies out there as well.
Did you notice that in the first and second of the Tom Holland Spider-Mans, they both ended with an almost curse word? At the end of the first one, Aunt May, he like says the F word, but it gets cut off. And then at the end of the second one, they find out Tom Holland's secret identity, and he curses. But then at the end of this one, I don't think anyone curses.
Maybe. He's cursing under his breath because nobody remembered him.
He had a curse jar. Like, he put a nickel in it instead of saying a curse word.
He's going to need all that money now, considering he's out there on his own. IMBD said Peter Parker's secret identity is revealed to the entire world. Desperate for help, Peter turns to Doctor Strange to make the world forget that he is Spider-Man. The spell goes horribly wrong and shatters the multiverse, bringing in monstrous villains that could destroy the world.
When the trailers came out, everyone speculated that exact thing happened.
Speculated what happened.
They just guessed what was going to happen in the movie because they saw Doctor Strange doing a spell, and then they saw Spider-Man like trying to change it up all the time, and he said, "Don't mess with the spell," and everyone's like, "But it's going to go wrong." And then like these rings in the middle are actually like showing the 3 universes that they're pulling from, and it was like everything that they guessed in the entire movie was just spoiled if you watch those.
Oh yeah, I do remember seeing some of when they were working and breaking down the trailers on YouTube.
Yeah,
that they were talking about that. As you said a few minutes ago, Spider-Man No Way Home picks up right after, basically where that one drops us off. Spider-Man is revealed by J. Jonah Jameson as Peter Parker. He's swinging MJ through the city, and then Ned calls him on the phone. Helicopters are following him all the way home to an Iron Man 3 type moment with Aunt May and Happy breaking up at their house, surrounded by choppers at the apartment. Choppers.
Yeah, I liked this movie. What'd you think of it?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I've watched this probably 3 or 4 times, and I only watched it once to do the breakdown. And so the other couple times I've watched it. So whenever that happens, normally that means I like a movie because I'm watching it again.
I've only ever seen it once, and it's only because I remember everything that happened because of everyone talking about it afterwards.
Yeah, it had a lot of good reveals when it came out. A lot of people didn't know. Andrew Garfield had some pictures that came out, and he was trying to debunk and saying that he wasn't really in it. And he was. They didn't have anything of the first Spider-Man because basically Tobey Maguire was keeping silent, but they thought that he might be in it. But he was holding out for more cash. It looks like in the very ending of the movie, if you're watching where he's with the other Spider-Man and they're on the Captain America shield, it almost looks fake, his face, like they superimposed him over somebody else. I don't know if they actually had signed him or not yet. And somebody else was maybe being the Spider-Man, hoping that they would get him signed and seal the deal and everything. Because his face looks weird in some parts at the very end.
It's kind of funny.
Yeah. Peter and May move in with Happy. Peter, MJ, and Ned do not get into any colleges because of Peter Parker reveal. Since the coffee shop where MJ works is still decorated for Halloween, the witch lights remind Peter to visit Doctor Strange.
Dr. Stephen Strange.
Dr. Stephen Strange at the Sanctum Sanctorium.
Stephen Strange Sanctum Sanctorum? That's a lot of S's.
I know. You know how he was with Stan Lee, was with the double letters. Look at J. Jonah Jameson. That's 3. You got Peter Parker.
We got to save the senior citizen Stephen Strange at the Sanctum Sanctorum.
Yeah. So you got Sanctum Sanctorum, and you got Stephen Strange. And so it's just S's, P's.
Double P.
Double P's. So at the Sanctum Sanctorium, there is a blizzard inside. Wong is packing to leave. Peter asks him to cast a spell. So no one, not Aunt May, not MJ, not Ned, not Happy, not several other people. The spell breaks out and Doctor Strange looks like he captures it, but it's unraveling the multiverse.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
Terrifying.
Yeah, it just goes awry. He's like, stop talking.
Whoa, bro, calm down.
Stop talking.
You're harshing my vibe.
You're ruining the spell, man. Those words aren't in the spell, dude. My Doctor Strange is like a
Surfer?
cool, like the guy from Stranger Things. He's, come on, dude, you're like ruining the spell, man.
That's your
Like
Stephen Strange.
I'm doing the spell for you, and you got to mention all kinds of people's names and stuff.
I don't think you're doing like Stephen Strange right there. It sounds nothing like him.
I try. Nobody said I was an actor.
Done some
Cumberbatch does a good rendition.
You've done some pretty good voices on the show.
True. I think people really don't like the voice. They probably skip over that part when I do the voices.
I liked your Riddler.
The Riddler was good. I really worked on the Riddler. That was Oscar worthy, I feel.
It was.
So then we go to the bridge, and while trying to talk with the emissions lady for MIT, Doc Ock shows up. Doc Ock gets nanotechnology from Peter's suit, and then Green Goblin shows up. Spider-Man throwing pumpkin bombs, and then he gets away. Doctor Strange sling rings Peter back to the sanctorium, and he has Lizard from Amazing Spider-Man trapped, and has also trapped Doc Ock, and he gives Peter a magic armband.
A magic armband.
For his suit.
At that point, he's just, hey, yeah, and then it just appears on his arm. He's like, whoa, what is that? And he's like, yeah, you'll need it. And then, Spider-Man just, whoa, magic, crazy.
Crazy magic, dude.
Yeah, that's what he says.
It's like, I told you, Peter, I would handle this, man.
You sound like Bill and Ted.
So MJ and Ned show up to the Sanctum Sanctorium, and Doctor Strange says, hey, yo, dude, please Scooby-Doo this shit.
That's what he says.
Hey, man, please Scooby-Doo this shit. You know what I'm saying, bro?
Hey, brah, you got a Scooby-Doo.
Scooby-Doo. I like what MJ says to him here. She's like, I know a couple of magic words myself, starting with the word please. And then he's like, you can work in the Undercroft. Please Scooby-Doo this crap. Yo, dude, please. If you're feeling like it, dude, if you're feeling it in your heart, I know I cursed right there, but if you could just feel it in your heart and Scooby-Doo this crap, it's crap better than saying the S word.
I just can't process this anymore. It's like the fourth time you've said that.
So they go to the Undercroft, and Ned finds a multiverse man near a research facility. And Spider-Man goes out to face a new Electro.
New.
He's no longer blue. He's yellow. Bum, bum, bum.
Like the comics.
Like the comic books. He's comic book accurate now. Marvel got a hold of him. The spider suit is on backwards, showing the wiring because his suit, somebody threw paint on it. They were like, oh, we don't like you, Peter. You suck. Or something. And you killed Mysterio.
Yeah.
And they threw paint on him.
We follow the mass murderer.
Yeah, so they switched it around, showing the wiring, and it looks pretty cool. Sandman shows up to help Peter trap Electro, and then Sandman doesn't trust him, so he also traps him. So you have Sandman from Spider-Man 3, you have Electro from Amazing Spider-Man, and you have Doc Ock from Spider-Man 2, and you have the Lizard from Amazing Spider-Man #1. So you're hitting a bunch of the movies there, and you have 4 of the villains now trapped.
That was too many numbers. I lost track.
2, 4, 6, 8. So there's basically 10 people trapped now.
I don't think that math adds up.
Okay, so it's the Lizard from Amazing Spider-Man 1.
Okay.
That's 1.
Yeah.
Right? Then you have Doc Ock from Spider-Man 2. That's 2.
Wait, so the Lizard from Amazing Spider-Man 1 and then Doc Ock from just the regular Spider-Man 2.
That's 2. Then he caught Electro from the Amazing Spider-Man 2.
So we have Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2, but only Spider-Man 2.
And then he captures Sandman from Spider-Man 3.
All right. So just to recap.
That's 4.
That's 4 villains.
4 villains that are trapped in the Sanctum Sanctorum in the Undercroft.
That's Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2. And then Spider-Man 2 and 3. So it sounds to me like we're missing someone.
We are. Very acute.
Thank you.
Astute. Is it acute or astute?
Acute is the angle of a triangle.
So astute. Very astute.
Yes.
That was what I meant to say.
Could have just said observant.
That would work too. So we are missing somebody. Green Goblin from Spider-Man, the original.
The first one.
Yes. In an alley, talks to his helmet, and then he smashes the helmet. Aunt May calls because Green Goblin shows up at the feast where Aunt May works. And she says he needs to help Spider-Man needs to help the multiverse men. May drives them to the Sanctum Sanctorum, and Aunt May cleaned Peter's spider suit, so now there's no more green paint on it. Doc Ock says Osborn's dead, and Sandman says they all died fighting Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
That was a spoiler in case you haven't seen Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man 3, Amazing Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man A Homecoming, Spider-Man Far From Home, and Spider-Man No Way Home.
So, just so you know, you need to watch Spider-Man, Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man 3, Amazing Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man Homecoming, Spider-Man Far From Home to understand Spider-Man No Way Home.
Yeah, you got to watch all the Spider-Men.
You have to watch all, 7 movies?
Sounds about right. But we couldn't add the villains up earlier, so we should probably just stop counting.
Yeah.
Doctor Strange locked the spell in an ancient relic. I'm not even going to butcher the name, but it's called the Dicoculus.
I thought you just said you weren't going to butcher
Well,
it.
I figured I'd go ahead and give it a run because I know how you like me to pronounce things.
No, it's great.
Spider-Man steals the relic. Doctor Strange knocks Peter out of his body. He floats back into his body, which was a cool sequence, and we think that was because of his Peter tingle.
Yeah, Doctor Strange is trying to reach for the box, and Spider-Man's old Peter tingle is like keeping it away from him.
Yeah, he was kind of like on the playground when you used to play keep away, and Doctor Strange doesn't like it. Doctor Strange and Spider-Man fight in New York, and then he takes him to the mirror dimension until math. That's right, I said it. 7th grade math.
This is where the real world appliance comes in. You always thought, hey, I'm never going to use math in real life, but look at Spider-Man.
Look at Spider-Man. Spider-Man uses math and gets out of the mirror dimension, steals the little sling ring, and gets back to Ned and MJ, trapping Doctor Strange.
I'd say it's more like a death sentence, because if he's not going to tell anyone where old Stephen Strange is, then he's just going to be trapped there forever.
Dude, man, how could you trap me here without my pizza and stuff, man? I need some stuff. Like the mirror dimension makes all my pizza in triangles and stuff, and then I'm starting to do math, and then I'm hungry.
Are you Michelangelo from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
We grew up with a lot of our heroes liking pizza, so it's just there's pizza in some of these movies too.
Cartoon pizza always looks like the best pizza ever.
The first Spider-Man trilogy had a lot of references to
Pizza time.
He even delivered pizza at one point.
That was the reference. That's the one I just made.
So Spider-Man gives Ned the ring, MJ the relic, and says that he wants to help the multiverse men. Peter takes Green Goblin, Doc Ock, Sandman, Lizard, and Electro to Happy's apartment. Unbeknownst to Happy, but Happy has a video camera and sees all the guys going in there. He's, who did you bring into the apartment?
He doesn't seem very happy about it.
Sandman sits on the couch and Sand gets all on the couch. And so they start going around, and it's funny what Doc Ock says. Doc Ock's like, you're going to fix us in some studio apartment? What do you have in here that's going to help us or whatever?
Yeah.
And they have an arc reactor for Stark. It's a fabricator.
They had the old Stark fabricator, the very important Stark fabricator that we all knew about.
Just lying around the house.
Just lying around in storage.
Yeah. Aunt May thought it was something. I don't know what she said she thought it was.
It looked like a pizza oven, I bet.
Probably. That's what they probably thought it was, a pizza oven. So Peter fixes Doc Ock's chip, even though he doesn't want him to. He gave Peter back his nanotech, so gives him back his nanotech, which changes his suit at that point. Norman synthesizes the serum and gives a device to Electro to draw the power away from him. Peter's tingle goes off. This is a really cool scenario with Peter's tingle because we don't know what's going on.
Yeah, he's just walking around the studio apartment, and I think in some scenes at this part, you can actually see the comic book lines above it if you look closely.
Yeah, like the waves.
It's almost invisible, but you can see it in some frames, and he's walking around. He's whoa, my Peter tingle's going off. I'm tingling.
And he doesn't know what's about to happen, but he knows something's about to happen, and it's Green Goblin. So May sneaks in, gets the serum, runs. Electro gets the arc reactor. Sandman leaves. Electro pushed Doc Ock out of the building. Sandman, Lizard, and Electro escape, and Green Goblin and Peter fight. And then, spoiler, bum, 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 somebody dies.
Is it me?
May dies.
May? Well, we still have April, right?
Now you don't have May.
What about June?
Still have June, but no May.
What about September? Come on.
Remember September, but you don't have May.
That's fine.
So Aunt May kicks the bucket, and she says a reverse of the line with great power comes great responsibility, or she says with great responsibility comes great power.
Whatever she said, it was actually directly what it said in the comics.
So then we go to a little comedy part where we go to Ned's house, and it's his Lola's house, and MJ and Ned wishes to see Peter. And so he opens up a portal to Peter. There's a portal open all of a sudden. Wait a minute, there's Peter.
That's old Peter Tingle Parker.
But we just saw Peter. Can't be Peter.
Can't be.
It's got to be Peter. It looks like Peter.
Peter's crying.
And then it's the Amazing Spider-Man.
That's Peter.
It's Peter.
But it's not Peter Tingle Parker.
It's Andrew Garfield, Spider-Man.
It's Peter Andrew Garfield Parker.
So he shows up, and then I think it's funny because Jay's throwing bread at him. Like, he should be able to realize with the Peter Tingle, or the Spidey sense as they call it in the comic books. So she makes him prove that he's Spider-Man by crawling on the ceiling. You're not Spider-Man. You're not Peter. He's wearing the outfit. It's a different outfit.
Yeah, but it's not the same, so that couldn't be Peter.
So then Ned opens another portal to find Peter Parker. It can't be Peter. We already have one Peter.
That can't be Peter. Peter is over on some roof crying. This can't be Peter.
Yeah, well, because this can't be Peter. And then it's the original Spider-Man, or it's your youth pastor.
That's old Pizza Time Parker.
Yeah, the original Spider-Man shows up. So you got the Amazing and the original Spider-Man, and they start fighting. And then they were like, hey, he needs our help. So MJ, Ned, and the two Spider-Mans, they just showed up all of a sudden, convince our MCU Spider-Man to cure the bad guys instead of killing them. They basically Ned says, we're going to cure that ass.
I don't think it could have been what he said. I haven't watched the movie in a while.
That's what he says. We're going to cure that ass.
Okay.
So all three assist with the cures, and they talk about A's and Owens and best friends and Beru's. That's not the right trilogy.
You said Owen. I was like, who's
Owen and Aunt Beru?
No,
Aunt May and Uncle Doug. No.
Uncle Doug.
I don't know. Aunt May and what's the other guy's name?
How do you not know it?
The great power with great responsibility.
It's Uncle Ben, Dad.
Uncle Ben, like the rice. I knew that.
What rice? What are you talking about?
Uncle Ben's rice.
What?
The Peter from the MCU calls the Daily Bugle, calls J. Jonah Jameson, tip line to show up at the Statue of Liberty. He says, these multiversal men show up at the Statue of Liberty and we'll see what you got. So it's funny here. Both the older Spider-Men are saying they have back problems and they're cracking each other's backs.
Yeah.
And they're talking about their web situation. The original Spider-Man has the webbing out of his body, and they were like, do you have it anywhere else? Let's not talk about this right now. And he's like, no, we really want to know your web situation. Like, what's going on with it? And then they're talking about working with crazy villains, Alien with Black Goo, what the original Spider-Man says. And then the MCU Spider-Man says he fought an alien on Earth and in space. And he's like, cool, on Earth and in space. And then the Amazing Spider-Man was like, yeah, I fought a Russian guy in a rhinoceros machine.
So, yeah, I'm not nearly as cool as you.
Not nearly as cool. And then Youth Pastor Spider-Man say, dude, you're just amazing.
Yeah.
So cheesy. So Spider-Man 1 is the MCU Spider-Man. Spider-Man 2 is the original Spider-Man. Spider-Man 3 is the Amazing Spider-Man. They take on Electro, Lizard, and Sandman, curing 2. Doc Ock shows up and assists with Electro. Then Ned portals in Doctor Strange, and Green Goblin show up. And Green Goblin blasts the relic in the spell, get out, cracking purple holes into the night sky. Bum, bum, bum.
You see all the silhouettes of people?
Yeah, the multiverse, they're all coming in. It's all breaking away.
The multiverse is like in madness, you could say.
In MCU, Spider-Man got really dark, and it seemed like the Amazing Spider-Man, Sony, other Spider-Man, was talking about how he got really dark and did some bad things. He said he stopped holding his punches. Stopped pulling his punches, yeah. And he almost kills Green Goblin, the MCU Spider-Man. The original Spider-Man, the Youth Pastor Spider-Man, stops him, while the Amazing Spider-Man gives the MCU Spider-Man the cure, and they cure him. They've cured all of them.
Yep.
MCU Spider-Man tells Doctor Strange to reverse the spell, sending everyone back to making them forget that he's Spider-Man.
He's do one more spell, but make everyone forget Peter Parker or something like that.
Dude, I got this one spell, bro. I'm going to lock it in, and we're going to get you back to Spider-Man.
Yeah, Steven was all sad, and he was like, dude, I actually care about you, though.
He did. He said that he could call him, instead of saying sir, he could call him Steven again. He said, that still feels weird, but I'll allow it.
Yeah, I mean, that was earlier, but I'm saying, like, right here.
Yeah.
He's, bro, I actually love you, though, so.
Yeah, but he says it again there. He's like, it still feels weird.
Yeah.
MCU Spider-Man says his goodbyes to the Spider-Man, Ned and MJ, and he promises to find them and tell them that He loves them.
But does he, Dad?
I don't know. He could do what he wants to do. Nobody remembers him.
My question was that he gets an apartment at the end, but he doesn't have a job.
Who knows? I guess they'll explain that in the next movie. He doesn't have any money coming in. He didn't have any Avengers money coming in from what we saw in Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
He could go and deliver pizzas.
See? Bring it back to the pizza element. I knew it would come back around.
He could go and be like, time for your pizza. And then everyone would be like, it's him. It's the Spiderling. And he'd be like, oh, come on.
So he goes back to the coffee shop, MJ's coffee shop. It's not really her. She doesn't own it, but she works there. MJ and Ned get into MIT. He does not tell them who he is. MJ's still wearing the necklace that he gave her in the last movie, Far From Home, the flower, the Black Dahlia.
The broken Black Dahlia.
The broken Black Dahlia. He goes to Aunt May's grave, and Happy is there. And Happy asks, how did you know her? And he's like, through Spider-Man. So they know Spider-Man. They just don't know that he's Spider-Man. Peter, as you said, moves into an apartment, makes a new Spider-Man suit with his, what do you call it, sewing machine that he just bought.
You see all like the fabric he laid around. Apparently he learned to sew at some point.
So he's sewing now. He's got his own sewing machine. He can afford an apartment and coffee and fabric. Then there's a mid-credit scene that doesn't make sense. People were probably a little upset about it. It's Venom, Eddie, learning about Iron Man, Hulk, learning about superheroes, and he disappears, but he leaves a little bit of the black goo.
A little bit of venom.
A little bit of venom on the table.
Venom.
Venom, 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 venom.
There are more lines than that.
Venom, 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 venom.
No, they're like other words.
Venom, venom,
No.
venom, venom, venom.
No. Okay, yeah, that's fine.
That's all I remember.
All right.
That was the mid-credit scene. There's an after-credit scene where they basically show Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness trailer. And we've already talked about that on one of our episodes.
Yeah, if you want to go check that out, check out episode here of Hero Chat Show, and you'll find it.
You can look at the very second episode of Hero Chat Show, I believe it is.
You just know that?
The first one we talked about Morpheus.
Morpheus?
Remember that movie?
Yep.
Very forgettable, I know. So that's the, not Spider-Man. It's not Amazing Spider-Man. What are we at now? Spider-Man, No Way Home.
Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man.
They should call him something else, but Spider-Man, No Way Home. So good movie. I was worried when I first saw the previews because I really didn't want them to bring the old villains back. I don't really like the old villains. Didn't work for me in the older movies. Green Goblin, he had a militarized suit. That's not Green Goblin from the comic books. Sandman was original and Venom was sort of original, but the guy that played him was just horrible. And some of the other ones, Lizard was okay. I'm glad they redid Electro, and I'm glad that they made him not as nerdy.
They changed the Green Goblin in this movie.
They did. They made him look better. They took away the mask. They broke the mask. He still had the militarized uniform on, but it didn't shine as much. It didn't have the shimmer as much.
I'm pretty sure he changed to like a hoodie near the end.
Yeah, he did. He had a hoodie on, and he had the goggles. So it brought the purple and the green in from the comic book.
So they got rid of his suit.
But he was still wearing the suit underneath, I think.
Oh.
I believe. I could be wrong. But I wasn't too thrilled when they were showing that. And I wasn't really thrilled they were going to bring all the Spider-Men back.
Yeah.
But Marvel does what Marvel does. And I have to say, I really enjoyed it. I made a ton of money.
Yeah.
Made a ton of money. It almost made like Avengers type money. Yeah, with Multiverse of Madness. Now, Thor's not doing as well. It made some good money. And I've watched it several times. So I'd have to say, I'm thinking 7.
You think it's 7 out of 700?
Out of 10.
That's a little low.
Oh, I'm not just a fan of the movie. I like Tom Holland as the Spider-Man. And I like it probably more than the last one. Mysterio was okay. But I think I like the first Homecoming with the Vulture better. I really like Andrew Garfield, the Amazing Spider-Man. I like the chemistry between him and his girlfriend in that movie. And I really enjoyed just his portrayal. And I'm glad that he was able to finally showcase his talents because I think he really shined in this movie where he didn't get a chance to do that in his own Spider-Man movie. And they've signed him to come back. I don't know if they've signed Tobey Maguire, and I don't know when they're coming back. I don't know what they're coming back for. And supposedly we're getting another Tom Holland trilogy, the MCU Spider-Man, but we don't know when that's coming. They haven't announced it. They might announce some stuff at D23 coming up here in September.
I'd probably say the same thing about the movie. I think about a 7.5 out of 10,000. I liked it, though. I thought it was pretty good.
I think if I had to rate the movies just off the top of my head, I think I would do No Way Home as my number 1, Homecoming as my number 2. Then I think I would go with The Amazing Spider-Man, the first movie, even though I didn't really like the lizard. Then I would think I would go with Spider-Man, Spider-Man 2, and then I don't know where the other ones kind of line up.
I think I'd probably do The Amazing Spider-Man 2 complete dead last. So that's where I would put that. Just The Amazing Spider-Man 2 just all the way at the end.
Yeah, it wasn't very good, but it had some good elements. They tried. Sony just needs to sell the rights back.
Yeah.
Just need to give the rights back to the MCU and let them do it and play, because they're filming Madam Web right now, and I believe they're doing another Venom, which Venom has been one of the good ones out of the Spidey universe. Morpheus was terrible. So Sony just needs to sell the rights back over to Marvel and let Marvel play with all those characters.
Yeah.
It would be great.
It'd be good if Marvel had free reign of all the characters, because then they wouldn't have anything to hold them back.
Yeah, and there's still a little touch and go with the Hulk, and there's still some stuff with Namor, even though we've seen some stuff that is happening with those movies upcoming. But you've got the season 5 slate, you got the season 6, 3 movies out of that, which we might get more information at D23. You got that information from San Diego Comic-Con. And so I think this, not season 4, what do they call it? Of the phase 4, yes, of the multiverse saga is what they're calling it.
Yeah.
The last one was the Infinity Saga, so this is the multiverse saga.
And the big bad is going to be Kang.
And they say that the last movie is going to be the Black Panther movie. Was that right?
The Black Panther, that's the next one.
I think that's the last, or maybe, yeah, I think that's the last one. I think the Ant-Man is going to be the first in phase 5.
I'm not sure.
Could be wrong in that. We'll double check on that and get back with you.
You can double check. I'll just sit here.
Are we ready to go into the TV show?
Yeah.
You are watching TV on the Hero Chat Show.
All right, so we went back in the archives and we watched Star Wars, The Book of Boba Fett.
Yes.
It aired in December 29, 2021 for 6 weeks going into the new year 2022, Wednesdays on Disney+. Tamura Morrison as Boba Fett. He played all the characters. Now, if you look at Boba Fett and all the Stormtroopers, he's played all of them.
Not the Stormtroopers.
Yes, you're right. The clone troopers, my bad.
Yeah.
Just wanted to see if anybody was paying attention. And you were. You picked up on it. Good job.
Thank you.
Ming-Na Wen as Fennec Shan. She's on Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. She was really cool on that show. Don't know if you watched it, but I really enjoyed her on that show.
I did not.
Pedro Pascal is the Mandalorian.
Yeah.
That is a spoiler there. Matt Berry is 8D8 and Carrie Jones as the Black Santon.
8D8?
Yeah, the droid.
That was in this?
Yep. The torture droid from Return of the Jedi.
You said that and it reminded me of the Lego Skywalker saga.
Yeah.
Because there was a mission. You were doing a mission for 8D8 and he was standing outside Jabba's palace.
He's helping them along in this movie.
You had to go find another robot called 7D7.
Interesting. This was created by Jon Favreau, not the character Boba Fett. We first saw the character Boba Fett in the Star Wars Holiday Special, which you're too young to remember. You probably never have seen that. And if you ever did see it, you'd be like, what in the what is this?
Is that the one with a full segment of just Wookiees talking in Wookiee?
Yeah, it's basically they go back to Chewbacca's home planet, and it's during a Life Day. And so they're having a celebration. It's almost kind of like Christmas Day or whatever they call Life Day. And it's his grandfather, I think his wife, and his kid. And it's just so campy. But there's a cartoon in it where they introduce Boba Fett for the first time, where he's riding the beast. He's riding the mythosaur in that. And he uses the same gun as the Mandalorian.
Yeah.
IMBD says bounty hunter Boba Fett and mercenary Fennec Shan navigate the underworld when they return to Tatooine to claim Jabba the Hutt's old turf. Yep. And we don't know why we really needed a book of Boba Fett, but we got it.
Because we didn't get a movie, we had to get the book.
So we'll get into episode 1, Star Wars, The Book of Boba Fett, chapter 1, because it's a book, Stranger in a Strange Land. And the synopsis is Boba holds court.
Synopses.
Boba holds court. There you go.
Boba tea.
And we're on Tatooine.
Again.
So long are we on Tatooine.
In everything.
We're on Tatooine.
I think the sequel trilogy is the only one not to go to Tatooine.
Yeah, so they're in Jabba's palace. It's empty except for Boba Fett in a Bacta tank.
Bacta.
And if he's in the Bacta tank, what's happening?
Bacta.
Tank.
He's getting all healed.
Flashback Friday.
I cannot explain the faces you just made while saying that.
Flashback Friday.
I don't.
He's on Camino. His dad's death. He's inside the Sarlacc pit. He finds a stormtrooper. He utilizes the hose to get air, and then he uses fire to escape. And he busts through the sand. It gets everywhere. It's all coarse and rough, and it just gets everywhere.
It really does.
It's really annoying. Gosh. So like Jawas do with everything on Tatooine, they take Boba Fett's armor. Tusken Raiders and the Sand People find him. He's just burnt. He should be burnt, but he looks more like peaked. Like
Crispy.
He should be from the sun and everything, but he looks more...
Crispy.
Not crispy. He's just wearing a white jumpsuit, and he almost matches his jumpsuit. So they tow him back to their village. They just pull him by the banthas.
Pull him by the foot.
Yep. And you know what Obi-Wan said about the banthas, don't you?
These babies can get 60 miles to the gallon.
That's not it.
Pizza time.
That's not it. They go in a straight line to hide their numbers. And we see this.
Oh, yeah.
There's 6 of them in a straight line to hide their numbers. Boba is tied to a post. Tusken Kid and others beat on him as the chieftain looks on. So they're just beating the crap out of Boba Fett.
Yeah.
He goes from the best thing that happened in Star Wars, the grandest bounty hunter, talking to, like, how dare you talk to Darth Vader? He's like, they're worth a lot to me.
Yeah.
And he's got a Tusken Kid beating him up as the chieftain looks on. He's got a Massive that guards him and a Rodarian, which a Rodarian is Greedo. You remember Greedo?
I do.
Who shot first, Han or Greedo?
I won't answer that question.
Okay, we don't know. Some people say it was Greedo.
I don't answer that
Some
question.
people say it was Han Solo. Han.
Solo.
Han. And they're by the fire. Boba knocks the Massive out, and he escapes. The Massive catches up to Boba, and the chieftain calls off the Massive. One of the Tuskens fights Boba. The flashback concludes.
But what happened?
I guess we'll find out. Fennec Shand tells Boba, hey, boss, it's time to wake up. Get on out your bed, old man.
I guess it's a good time to bring it up. What do you think about the jumping back and forth between flashback and present day?
It wasn't doing it for me, dog.
What would you have preferred?
I think if they would have told that story in just its entirety and then told the next part of the story in its entirety, I think it would have been better. I always say this, but Hollywood needs more editors. They need more people to edit down stuff, take away stuff, because there's so much stuff that they could take out.
Yeah. I didn't really like it. I wouldn't really call it this, but I hate like cliffhangers. I don't like being left on nothing, and it happens a lot in every type of media. So I would have preferred just to get like that whole story, to know what was going on back then and then know what's happening nowadays. But I feel like they were just using that constant back and forth to cover up how like boring the newer one, like the present day, was for them.
I've been blaming COVID on a lot, and I think it has a lot to do with COVID, because they're just out there trying to do any kind of entertainment during COVID, and this was shot during that time, and I think that it really probably had a lot to do with production. I think they probably sped up production a little bit too. But when you have Rodriguez directing that episode of The Mandalorian with Boba Fett, and it's just kicking the ass, he's just kicking the stormtroopers on that one planet that Baby Yoda, Grogu, and the Mandalorian were on while he was in his Force vision, trying to talk to Luke or whoever was going to pick him up through the Force. He was just kicking that butt, and Rodriguez did a great job, and so people were like, oh, this is going to be so awesome. He's just going to be out there kicking butt. But it's almost if I played you like a really cool song, and I got right to the chorus and I cut it off, and I played some campy song right after it. In your mind, you're like singing the chorus if you know the song.
Yeah.
And not that you knew the song, not that you knew the story, but you're left there in limbo. That part just ended. So what happens? And so you're invested in it, and then it goes to something else. And then once you get invested in that, it goes back to that. So it's like this constant back and forth. So it really would have done the story if they would have just played all of that, him escaping the Sarlacc, all that stuff that led up to, and then played out all the rest of it.
Yeah.
It would have built, I think, a better structure for the show.
And I don't think it's the same thing that they did in Obi-Wan. I think it was a lot better done because Obi-Wan was short, segmented sections that very much played into what was already happening, especially in that one episode. I think it was like 4 or 5 where he was thinking about the duel with Anakin. And like everything that was happening in the duel was like happening then, showing that Anakin never learned.
Yeah, so you were still in that story, and then they do the flashback as part of that story and is bringing elements into the modern day of kind of what the characters are thinking, and then you see it from those different aspects. That was a different transition than what we got in Boba Fett with them doing the story just haphazardly back and forth.
Yeah.
So she tells the boss to wake up. She's like, the dreams are back. And then they're lined up to pay their respect. There's a Narqualish Don, Dalk Strassa, and he's a Trandoshan. He brings him a Wookiee pelt because they kill Wookiees.
Yeah.
Then you got Mock Shines as the mayor, but the mayor doesn't show up. It's his major domo that shows up from Mos Espa and the surrounding plateaus. And he wants tribute. And they're supposed to be paying tribute to Boba Fett. So Boba Fett's, wait a minute. You're supposed to be paying tribute. And he's like, I know. And so you had this like back and forth moment. Okay, I'm paying tribute. No, you're going to get tribute. Okay, where's our tribute? So It's this back and forth type of thing. And then the Gamorrean guards, they worked for Jabba and Bib Fortuna. Fortuna, sorry about that. Lord Fett spared them, so he would work for them. He said, if I spare you guys, will y'all work for me?
Yeah.
Will y'all be loyal to me? You guys were already loyal to. Will you be loyal to me? So they go into Mos Espa. Sand says that Fett should be carried around like the Hutts because that's how they show the dominance. And guess what? We get a chance. We see Max Rebo and his band. They're back. Yeah. We thought that they died on the sail barge, but evidently Max and a couple of band members survived.
Yeah.
They get their helmets cleaned by the Twi'leks, and then Boba Fett gets his back with coins in it. Fett and Shan are attacked on the street. These guys carry force field shields and electro staffs, and they're losing. Both of them are basically losing because they start surrounding them, and they can't jump up, and Fennec Shan's trying to jump up, and they can't jump up. So it's not until the Gamorreans cut in that 2 of them get away, and Fennec Shan follows them on a rooftop chase. She kills one, and the Gamorreans put Fett in the Bacta tank because he's tired out. He's got to have another flashback.
Yeah, you know what? I'm conking out. I'm too tired.
I got to take a nap.
It's like nighttime already. I'm going to head to the Bacta tank for the night. I'll see you guys in 2 weeks.
I used to question Darth Vader, and I used to be the best bounty hunter in the galaxy.
I got to go to the Bacta tank.
I got to go to the Bacta tank and go to sleep. So we get a flashback Friday.
Goodness gracious.
Flashback Friday.
I don't know why you're doing that.
Young Tuskens are untying Fett. They take the Rodin and Fett chained together into the desert. They come across a gang stealing from a moisture farmer. They paint JL on the building. What they're doing?
Justice League.
That's what I thought.
You said it. My brain just clicked.
I know. I think it was for the Snyderverse.
It must have been.
I think they got the hashtag in the movie, in the show.
They live in a society.
Yeah, and that society
is Tatooine.
Yeah.
So Tatooine used to be under the Dune Sea.
It did. We learned about that in one of the other episodes.
Yeah, but you're not supposed to know that yet, Dan.
You're giving spoilers. Did we say spoilers already?
You said that.
Well, you got to go watch the show. I mean, if you're here, hopefully you watched the show.
I'd hope so.
So they're digging for water in the desert. The Rodarian discovers a creature with 4 arms. You're supposed to be digging up water. And it kills the Rodarian and the Massive, which is the dog-like creatures that follow the Tuskens. Fett kills the sand creature with the chains used to keep him and the Rodarian together. And the Tusken kid comes back with the sand creature's head. And the chieftain knows who really did it.
I know who did it.
Boba Fett got his groove back a little bit.
He's like, there. I know it was you, Boba.
I know. I got my eye on you, Boba.
I see you, Boba.
I see you, Boba. I see what you're doing there, Bob.
I see a good old Mr. Fett.
I got what you're doing, Fett man.
I got your number.
So we go to episode 2, The Tribes of Tatooine. Boba Fett faces new challenges on Tatooine.
It's always in Tatooine.
Tatooine.
Never anywhere else.
You go to Fett's palace now.
Yeah, don't get that wrong.
Phoenix has an Order of the Night Wind in tow. She's coming with the guy that she captured. The last chase on the episode, hopping rooftop to rooftop. People are hoping for Kira and the Crimson Dawn, but they don't get it. They missed a couple of opportunities here, and I believe Kira and the Crimson Dawn was one of them, being that they had the red and like color and everything.
Yeah.
They really missed an opportunity here, but that's okay. Fennec Shan interrogate him, and then Finn drops him into the Rancor pit. Bum, bum, bum. We all know what happens with the Rancor, but guess what? No Rancor.
Yeah, they didn't have one.
They didn't have a Rancor. So the assassin says he was sent by the mayor, and then he finds out there's no Rancor. Bum, bum, bum.
It was just a trick all along.
And they're like, shall we visit the mayor? Mayor's been coming up a lot. So Fett, Shan, the assassin, and the guards march through Mos Espa, and the clerk won't let Boba Fett in. He's like, yeah, Boba Fett, I heard you're not living up to your Fettness.
You're not that cool.
You don't have the Bobaness anymore.
Come back when you get more cool points.
Neither him or the Major Domo are letting Fett and crew walk in. Mos Shans is Ithoriz. He's the new Daimyo. And Ithoriz is the Hammerhead from the original trilogy.
The old Hammerhead shark.
Yeah, and he's got a voice translator, so he's speaking to Boba Fett, and the mayor shoots the assassin. Yep. So, oh, man, and then everybody's on alert. They all give up the weapons. They got the weapons pointed at everybody. It's a standoff. You got a standoff here. He gives him a reward. The mayor sends him to Garsa's sanctuary, and the twins have laid claim to Jabba's territory, and the twins are like Jabba. They're Hutts.
They're the slugs.
Yeah, and they're on this one platform, and these guys are holding it, and it's sagging in the end. I felt so bad for those two guys holding up these twins.
They're doing a good job, though.
But then you see Black K show up. He's not scared.
I'm not scared.
I'm not scared.
You can't scare me.
Fennec says they have to have permission to kill the Hutts. So you go to the Bacta tank again.
He's like, oh, I'm feeling a little bit.
Flashback.
I'm feeling a little bit tired.
Friday.
Okay.
Fett's training with the gaffy stick with Chieftain's wife. They're roaring in the distance, and there's a train that's firing on the Tuskens. And they have to burn the bodies of all the Tuskens that were killed by the train.
It's very sad. You should feel sad right now if you're listening.
Fett says he will stop the train. He knows where he can go to pick up some power converters.
I know, too.
Got to go to Tosche Station to pick up some power converters.
I was going to Tosche Station to pick up power converters.
But he doesn't pick up power converters. He's picking up some speeders. So he goes there.
Crew.
And Luke's friends from the cut of New Hope, the original Star Wars that they show, are there.
His friends from Tosche Station.
Yeah, the couple looks like Cammy and the Fixer from the New Hope.
Yeah, from A New Hope, the original.
He's at Tosche Station,
Is
man.
that Tammy and Fixer from Tosche Station?
And beats up the gang and takes their speeders.
Yeah.
So he squashes the Justice League.
No more Justice League.
There's still Justice League, but we think that there's no more Justice League.
How are you going to beat the world's greatest detective?
I think your vengeance.
That's
what you got to do. Fett teaches the Tuskens how to ride the speeders, which is funny.
Yeah, he's like, vroom.
And they're jumping from speeder to speeder, which is hilarious as well.
Yeah.
Boba trains with the gaffy stick, and the train's coming, so the Tuskens start shooting people out, and Fett and the Tuskens take the train from the Pikes. That's how we find out who's running the train. And they basically say they have an ancestral claim to the Dune Sea, and you Pikes need to pay a toll.
Yeah, this is our land.
It's our land. California to the New York's islands.
Yeah.
To the Redwood Forest, to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me.
Ain't no mountain high enough.
Ain't no valley low enough. So the Tusken Raider, he's still having the vision. Many tribes since the ocean died, from what the chieftain says.
Just got too hot with those two suns.
He said the off-worlders have machines, and the chieftain has a gift for Fett. Yeah.
Wonder what it is.
The gift will guide you. A lizard basically goes up into Boba's nose.
Ew.
And he's in and out of his armor. Then he goes to a tree with voices, and it starts to cover Vet like the Sarlacc. And then he has a vision of Camino and his dad leaving to breaking branches and a sea of waters, which appears to be on Tatooine.
It's the old Gaffy tree.
Old Gaffy tree. Fett comes back with a branch. The Tuskens wrap Fett in their robes, their Tusken robes. So now he goes semblance-wise to being like in his cream outfit to being in all black robes. The Tusken kid takes the chieftain's wife, the branch. They make a gaffy stick for Boba. They show the chieftain, and he practices over the fire with the chieftain's wife. And the Tuskens join in a ritual dance by the fire.
Yeah, is that what it sounds like?
I don't know if they did that, but
Did you write that in your notes? Does it say to say that?
I didn't say to say that. I just automatically said that. I don't know why.
That's your natural reaction.
Something like that. So they were in the fire. So that's the end of episode 2 or chapter 2. We're at Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah.
In the chapters, right?
It's in the chapters.
So we moved on to chapter 3, the streets of Mos Espa. Boba Fett must deal with 2 very different threats. These synopsis, just this is what it is, man. Dealing with 2 threats. That's it, buddy.
It's only 2 of them.
That's all you get.
That's all you need.
So we go to Fett's place. We see on the outskirts a monk droid who we haven't seen. Those droids are the spider-like droids, and they carry the brains, the
Guys
monks
from
the palace, because Fett doesn't own the palace. Tuna did not own the palace. Jabba didn't own the palace. These monks own the palace.
Yeah, it's their palace.
It's their palace. And
Their
so now
brains
these
are still
guys
there.
are roaming free with their brains in the jars.
You're like, what do we do now?
What's going to happen now? I don't know. Living out here on the streets now. Boba Fett don't kick me out.
We're just brains in a jar
Brains in a jar.
with old spider legs.
At least they can get around.
Yeah.
8D8 says that Bib Fortuna had split Mos Espa into 3 families. The Trandoshians run the city center, the Qualish Workers District, and the Klatooinians, Starport, and the Upper Sprawl.
The sprawl.
Yeah. Lortho Peel, who's a watermonger in the Workers District, tells Fett, hey, man, nobody respects you.
Ooh.
You're a
burn.
loser, baby. Why don't you kill me?
Oh,
He doesn't really say that, but he should say that because he's Fett.
that's right.
And I think Finnick even says, wait a minute. I think she puts her hand on her gun. She's ready to go. She's more Fett than Fett.
That's right.
She's just ready to go. The streets have turned into chaos. There's a street gang stealing his inventory. They're half man, they're half machine, half woman, half machine. They modify their bodies with droid parts.
Yeah.
So we go to Mos Espa and they confront the gang. And Fett, being the family man that he is, mi familia.
You're trying Spanish?
Tried. It didn't work, though. There's family now. He offers them, tells Lortha to cut his prices, and he paid their debt off, and he takes their Vespas and their bodies and tells them to come on up to the palace, yo.
Get on up here.
Get on up here. So we go to the back to tank.
Back to a flashback.
Flashback Friday. I don't think you like that.
It's all right.
Dad's leaves on a bantha. Where do the Pikes do their business in Mos Espa? He goes by the same stormtrooper helmets and spikes. And then you see Peli Motto, Ando's friend, and Grogu's babysitter with her gonk droids walking.
And she is a new droid.
Yeah. We don't see that till later. There's
Yeah.
a couple of new droids. She has at least one new droid. But
I remember the new droid because it was like very special to me when I saw it.
the Pikes meeting, they've already paid protection to one party, and it's the Canton Riders. That's the name of the group, the ones that are riding the speeders. So they're still out there.
Is that one of Boba's new threats?
Possibly. Could be the kids on the Vespas.
I knew it.
And they've already collected the protection money. Your Tuskens are out, man. I'm sorry.
Can't get any money from him now.
So he returns by the Bantha to Tusken Village. I mean, he left for 5 minutes. It was probably longer than that because the Bantha takes probably 4 days to get to Mos Espa or wherever he went.
Banthas are pretty slow.
So the building was destroyed, and JL is on the tents, and Boba takes all the bodies, all of his buddies, all the Tuskens are dead.
Yeah, it's sad to see. He's like walking through. He's like, oh, come on.
You ever been ripped out of your sleep? Just ripped out of your sleep?
By you all the time.
Like you're sleeping and just get up.
Yeah, you.
So Black K pulls Fett out of the Bacta tank. Imagine just waking up and a Wookiee's after you.
Yeah.
Don't have any of your armor. You're like all in your underoos.
Yeah, it's what it's like to wake up in this house with you.
The gang surrounds Black K. Black K tackles the guards down the stairs, and Fennec Shand traps him in the Rancor pit, even though there's no Rancor. He's not too happy about this either. He was kicking some butt, too. He had his fisticuffs were electrolyzed or whatever, could shoot energy from.
He was like, come at me.
So the twins, Jabba's cousins, show up with a gift. With a gift, we sent Chrysanthemum to kill you, but the territory is already owned by the mayor. He promised them to another syndicate, and the Hutts are leaving. So you can sell the Wookiee. He's tribute. And they give him a Rancor and trainer. That's what the gift is. So now he's got a Rancor.
Yes.
So you got Rancor.
Got a Rancor now.
He says the witches of Dathomir, they ride the Rancors. Fett wants to ride. The Keeper lets the Rancor look on Fett so they can develop a deep bond. So now you got Boba Fett falling in love with Rancors.
It's pretty romantic.
He was once talking back to Vader, and he was going around killing a bunch of people and capturing a bunch of people, and now he's falling in love with a Rancor.
Good for him, honestly.
This was the love story that we were looking for.
I was proud of him.
And they cut away from it. We didn't get much of it.
No, they cut back immediately. They didn't care.
They go into town to the mayor and the biker gang with them. The major domo escapes on a speeder with the biker gang after him on their Vespas. The mayors with the Pikes show up at the spaceport. We missed another chance for a character here. The girl looks a lot like Arden Lynn from the Masters of Terra Sky game.
I remember.
When I saw the previews initially, I even put, I think, something on Facebook or our page or wherever it was, that this is probably going to be Arden Lynn.
You talked about it a lot.
And it wasn't. I was so distorted. Yeah, I was so distorted.
That must have sucked.
One of the gang called Boba Fett to let him know we're going to war and we'll be ready.
That's right.
So that's the end of chapter 3 of the Book of Boba Fett.
B-O-B. His name is
Bob. Book of Boba Fett.
Bob.
Like Mom for Multiverse of Madness. So we'll take a look next time at 4, 5, and 6 of the Book of Boba Fett while we're waiting on She-Hulk, Marvel's Entertainment Attorney at Law, which is coming soon on the 18th. It's going to be 18th. A new day.
Man.
Thursday.
By the time this podcast comes out, it's going to be soon.
We got a little bit of time to get this next episode in and then watch the episodes for the next episode and then get those episodes in. So you ready for the next segment?
Maybe.
Let's do it.
At the con with the Hero Chat Show.
We were at the con.
What con?
AwesomeCon. AwesomeCon.
Yeah.
It was so awesome.
Was it?
Dude, so awesome. The con was awesome, dude. So awesome.
Off the bat, I'm going to say I liked it more than the last one.
Yeah, I think so too. Washington, D.C., Comic-Con, AwesomeCon.
Is that where we were?
Yeah.
Huh.
District of Columbia. We were near the Presidente.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. We could have saw him fall off his bike.
Oh, yes.
June 3 through the 5th, 2022. And we were there Saturday, June the 4th. It was at the Walter E. Washington Convention Center. That's where it was.
Did we see anyone?
We did see people. We got there and we had to go straight in, get checked in, get our bags and everything, and then immediately go to the first thing on the main stage.
Was this the one where we walked in and they were like leading us? They had the line and they
all the way around.
The
you go here, go there. We
had to go through one of those metal detectors.
Yes. Underneath, and then we went up top, and then we went around, and then we went around again, then we went upstairs. And
wait, this was the con. They gave us a lanyard, right?
Yes.
And then I still have that lanyard. And then this was the first one we actually bought something at.
Yes, is exactly right. We did buy something at this one. So we immediately go to the main stage at 10:30 to 11:15. It's spotlight on Shang-Chi and the Legends of the Ten Rings cast. And it says, a Marvel legend will rise. Join Simu Liu, who played Shang-Chi, Ming-Er Zhang as Shang-Chi's sister, and Florin, I'm not sure what his last name is, I'm sorry I pronounced that wrong, Razor Fist, for a Q&A about Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Get to know the cast behind the MCU hit movie. If you aim at nothing, you hit nothing.
I think if anything was true about that, I think it's the fact that it's true.
We really enjoyed this panel. This was a cool panel because they had done the karaoke in the movie and they were talking about like fighting and doing the whole scene from the bus. And then the sister was just totally unlike her character. She was just so nice and so appreciative. This was a really cool little Q&A get together. We didn't really meet and greet them, but we saw them on the stage.
What I remember most, and I have a video of it, was them singing I Want It That Way.
That was cool.
That was super funny.
I was grateful that you got that on video because they were talking about them doing a lot of cut scenes from the movie. I don't know if they'll ever have them, but doing karaoke. And that's one of the songs I guess they were singing, but they probably cut it because it wasn't strong enough for Razor Fist.
Yeah.
To be playing, and he was talking about how he was a villain of Wolverine's, and it was good to watch them talk about this movie, and I liked their dynamic, and I could see why they were picked for the roles. I thought she was really sweet, the sister.
Yeah.
The guy that played Chung-Chi, and Razor Fist, they were just cool dudes.
It was a really fun time in that panel.
They did a good job. We had a little bit of time in between that, so we probably made our way back downstairs. We had to go way upstairs, I think, to the 3rd floor, and then way downstairs to the basement or whatever.
Whenever we get the first free time of the day, we always just navigate to the...
We hit the floor like we're celebs, and people we're like, Hero Chat Show's here. We throw open the doors, and we do the superhero thing and walk in with our capes held high.
And they're all looking at us like, wow, what dweebs.
Yeah, and they're like, who are these guys? Like, we're Hero Chat Show, baby.
We got one of our friends to roll out the red carpet for us.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm Jonni Boy. That's ZaneMan. And they're like, oh, can I get your autograph? I'm like, sure, dude.
I'm just like, no.
Sign the autograph.
You couldn't afford it.
You're always like $50.
Yeah.
Yeah. You end up making more money than I do usually.
Yeah, because if you're good at something, don't give it away from free.
We don't actually walk in like that. But it would be nice if we could one time.
I would be embarrassed.
It would probably be embarrassing. Nobody's going to recognize us. Be like, those are the dudes from Hero Chat Show.
Whoa, say something. I want to hear your voice.
I want to make sure it's you. So we went downstairs. It was massive. Goodness gracious. Like this place, like I think they have secure documents hidden somewhere there. It was so huge. It was like one of those underground bunkers that you see on the TV where they have all kinds of movies and stuff that they're storing for whatever purposes. It was huge.
Later in the day when we were actually going to find something that I wanted to buy that you said that you would buy for me, we completely just couldn't find it. I was like, I started using like navigation. I was like, all right, so if you look at the giant Star-Lord banner, it's going to be facing that way. And you have to pass past the drawings of the characters from Star Wars, A New Hope through Rise of Skywalker. And then you take left by the Joker and Harley Quinn. It was very funny.
It was no hope for us. We were totally lost. And we did finally find the place that you were looking for to make your purchase. And we didn't do the purchase until later on. So then we go back up to the main stage at 1 p.m. to 1:45. Oh, dear. It's Anthony Daniels. He's fluent in over 6 million forms of communications. Anthony Daniels, best known as C-3PO, a.k.a. 3PO, in Star Wars, is the only actor to have either appeared or been involved with in pretty much every iteration of Star Wars magic. That's some serious Star Wars dedication. Join Anthony for a Q&A about everyone's favorite shiny guy, C-3PO. It's against his programming to impersonate a deity, but we totally worship Anthony Daniels.
It was funny. He had a great panel. He was very good working with the crowd.
He was like Shatner. He was over the top, and he was funny.
My only problem with his panel was that he would constantly go into the audience, and half the time his cameras just were not following him.
Yeah, they didn't know where he was. I like when he asked, is anybody in here not seen Star Wars? Anybody in here not seen Star Wars? And I think there was one young girl, and he brought her up on the stage. He's like, what's Star Wars about? And she's like, I don't know. I've never seen Star Wars. And somebody answered, and he's like, that's not it.
Yeah.
Because they were like, it's about a Jedi, it's about this, but that's not it. And somebody said, it's about a droid, what C-3PO. And they were like, that's exactly right. It's all about C-3PO.
I have a video. It's not a very good video. It's of the screen, and you can barely hear it. But he's like talking to this one girl, and he's, now tell me, how does it feel to stand next to a god?
Yeah, he was really playing up the deity in that story of Return of the Jedi when the Ewoks recognized him as a deity and all that. It was really funny. It was really over the top, and he reminded me a lot of Shatner in that panel. And we stuck around for the main stage because right after that, it was a bewitching Sabrina the Teenage Witch cast reunion. The Spellmans have zapped into AwesomeCon, join Hilda, Zelda, and of course Sabrina for magic, mayhem, and mischief as we geek out over Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Beth Broadwick, Aunt Zelda, Carolyn Ray, Aunt Hilda, and Melissa Joan Hart, Sabrina, are ready to answer your bewitching questions. Everyone's life could use a touch, ding, of magic.
I really liked their panel.
They were really good. I've never even really probably watched a whole show, to be honest with you. I don't know how we turned around when we were in that panel, but we both wanted to go to that panel.
I've seen it. I've seen the show.
You've seen the show. So I've seen the show, and I've watched some episodes, but I don't know if I could tell you that I've watched a complete episode of the show. But I know about the show, and I know its popularity.
I really wanted to stick around, but at some point, like halfway, not even halfway through, you wanted to go see somebody else that was starting up.
Yeah, so we wanted to leave and go. They were telling some really good stories, and I remember Aunt Hilda, Carolyn Ray, was talking about, she's like, if you watch the first season of that show, she like points her wand and looks away because she knows something's going to blow up.
Yeah.
And she hadn't quite gotten used to it. If you're watching the first season, you'll see me like look over there and I'll look away real quick because something's going to blow up. Tuesday would show up on the set and they'd be dressed a chicken in a tuxedo.
Yeah.
And that was like a normal day for them. They had to have practical effects when they did that show.
It was funny because Aunt Hilda said that they would have like a little thing that would ring for the cat, so the cat would look at like where they wanted it to. And she said like after one full day, she was trained completely because she would look whenever they rung it.
Whenever the cat was supposed to look at a thing, she would actually look at it. And so she wasn't supposed to do that. And they were also talking about the outfits because they would always do a little twirl and I guess do the magic and change outfits. They said they would have to stop, kind of mark where they were, go back into the same pose that they were in and be in the new outfit. So I thought all those little stories of the behind the scenes, even though I probably haven't seen a full show, was just really cool.
Yeah.
We went around the corner to room 204 from 2:30 to 3:15 to see Timothy Zahn. He's a Star Wars writer. He's one of the guys that, if you don't already know, brought back Star Wars for my generation that ended with Return of the Jedi. And after 83, we weren't getting any Star Wars. It says here, sometimes victory is greater than the warrior could ever hope for. Get to know the talented science fiction author Timothy Zahn, Thrawn, Heir to the Empire, and Thrawn Ascendancy, Lesser Evil. Known for his prolific collection of Star Wars books, chiefly the Thrawn series, he'll be taking the stage to answer your burning questions about Grand Admiral Thrawn, fantastic writing, and the world of Star Wars. That's Heir to the Empire. Those books, when they came out, there was a trilogy of 3, was just so cool. And that was the only Star Wars we were getting. Now they've been classified as legends now, but I have those books and I really wanted to take one of them with me or all of them and get him to sign the books that I had, but didn't end up doing that.
Yeah. I think he means a lot to you because you actually ended up naming my sister.
That's a story that is not supposed to be told, but yeah, Mara is named after Mara Jade. We would tell people that she was named after Mara Tooney from Star.
That's not true, is it?
No, she was named after Mara Jade, but she has a U in her name, so Mara's M-A-R-A, and our Mara, my daughter, is M-A-U-R-A. Yeah, Luke Skywalker's wife, the Emperor's Hand, that's what my daughter is named after. So that was interesting. We had a good time there. We probably wish we would have stayed in Sabrina because the energy level in his panel wasn't as high.
It really died down.
I mean, it was good. We appreciated the talk and about the books and stuff, but if you're really not a follower of the books, which like I knew you weren't, Thrawn, and you've seen Rebels and some of the other things that he's been in, but you didn't know about this author and you don't know about those books. If you would have known, it might have interested you more.
Yeah.
But I think Sabrina the Teenage Witch we probably would have stayed in because it would have held more of our focus.
I don't even think that's it fully. I don't know what the full story about it is of why his was so low down for me. But like even some of the people that I haven't known very well, like when we were talking about William Shatner, you like to say I didn't know anything about him, but I've seen him in some things. But even if I don't know the person that we're going to see, I can still end up enjoying their panel.
And it wasn't terrible. I was really excited to be there and to see him. And like I said, I really wish I would have taken my trilogy because I'm not sure. Some of those might be first editions originally to have his signature on it. So one day I'll have to do that. If he's back in another one, I'll have to bring my books for him to sign. So then we went back to the main stage at 4:15 to 5 p.m. Out in Space with Anthony Rapp and William Cruz. Everyone's favorite space dads are out at AwesomeCon. Join Anthony Rapp, Lieutenant Commander Paul Stamets, Wilson Cruz, Dr. Hugh Colber for a conversation about pushing forward progress in new frontiers. They're the first 2 gay lead characters on a Star Trek show, and they're ready to field your questions about Star Trek Discovery, musical theater, and being yourself at the edge of the universe. Discovery begins. So I enjoyed that panel with them on it.
Did you?
I did. Did you like it?
I didn't know much about them, so it was pretty fun at some points.
Discovery's not my favorite. Like I've said on this show previous, I'm more of a Star Wars fan than Star Trek. Some people are more Star Trek than Star Wars. But to me, Star Trek never really had the special effects. Now, the ones that they're doing on Paramount are better. I believe Strange New Worlds is the best one that they've done, but I really like these 2 guys. I haven't watched all of season 4 yet. I need to finish watching season 4, but I did watch all of Strange New Worlds and Picard. And so I do watch the shows, but it's not something that we typically talk about on here unless we're at the con and we're seeing Shatner or somebody else from Star Trek, because it does still hold for me, and I have seen those things in the media, and I do watch them and enjoy them, but they're not Star Wars.
Yeah.
So they don't hold as high a regard. But it was still a great panel. I enjoyed seeing those two guys and seeing their love of theater and their love of Star Trek and the things that they're involved in. It was really great for everyone that was involved.
I can't say much about them because I never watched their show, but they seemed like good people, so I'm assuming that they're good actors as well, especially with how many people were there.
It was really a good time. We really enjoyed it. And so what is this, the third con that we've been to?
Third or fourth. I'm pretty sure it's the third.
So we went to Galaxy Con.
Then we went to
Tidewater Con. And then
Awesome.
AwesomeCon.
I think that's it.
Yeah, I think that's it. So how would you rank the cons? What would be your number 1, 2, and 3?
Do you mean people that were there overall or just a con itself?
I would think the people that were there and overall together.
All right, so just like everything together?
Yeah.
Let's see. Honestly, I think I would rank it third as the best. AwesomeCon is the best, and it really held up to its name.
Okay.
And then I would probably say GalaxyCon next. Tara Strong was really fun to go see, and then who else was there?
You had Shatner, and you had
Shatner and
Evangeline Lilly from
Lilly.
Ant-Man.
They were all great.
Awesome.
And then the one at AwesomeCon, they had all great people there. I don't know. I liked seeing, what was his name? John Wesley Shipp. I liked seeing him there.
Tidewater Con.
But everyone else was just, he's the only one I remember really.
Yeah, I would think the same thing. I really feel like AwesomeCon was pretty awesome.
I would say in one word, if I had to put one word on AwesomeCon, I would probably say awesome.
It's so huge. So many different or what do you call it? People that are selling stuff there, that whole bottom floor, the panels. I just feel like they had it pretty well put together for the place. And GalaxyCon, the same thing. I feel like they had a pretty good structure in play.
Yeah.
I would say that it would be helpful to have a book like GalaxyCon does.
Yeah, that was really helpful. Do you still have that?
I do still have it. And it's good to be able to look back over that. That's our last con that we've been to. I don't know if we'll go to any more this year. We're going to go to GalaxyCon Raleigh, but we ended up not going. So it might be the last con that we talk about for a little while.
I would like to go to another one. I've really enjoyed going to them.
Yeah, I think there's one more coming up where Black Chrysanthemum is going to be at.
Oh, wow.
I think it's up in Northern Virginia. I'll have to see when the dates are. So we might talk about one more that's going to be local to us, but this will be the last con that we're talking about. But I agree with you. AwesomeCon, number 1, GalaxyCon 2, Tidewater Con 3.
Yeah.
I think all of them have similar things. It's just the level of guest and the level of how everything is put together, I think, is what matters, because you want the stuff in a certain package to be able to follow along, like with the book, and to know where things are happening. And you want to be able to go to some good panels too. So that's it. That's AwesomeCon in Washington, D.C., District of Columbia. So we've decided next time what we're going to talk about. Those are good stuff that we talked about.
Yeah, I think they're pretty good.
We're going to end the show, so we'd like you to join us next time on Hero Chat Show, where ZaneMan and Jonni Boy will discuss Shang-Chi. We'll go back in the archives and the Legend of the Ten Rings. We'll also continue with Star Wars Book of Boba Fett 4, 5, and 6. And we'll talk about the game Stray.
Stray's less of a superhero type thing, but we just thought it'd be a nice little thing to talk about.
Yeah, I really enjoyed looking at the pictures of the game. I really want to find out more about the game. I think it'll be fun. I don't know if we technically said that the game has to be Star Wars, Marvel, or DC. But if we did, we're going to break that rule for Stray, because I really want to hear more about it. And I think you would too. I think it's something fun to find out.
He's a superhero in my heart.
Exactly. I think so too. Check out Hero Chat Show on Instagram, hero.chat.show, and wherever you listen to your podcast. Don't forget to check out other episodes of Hero Chat Show and tell a friend who likes DC, Marvel, or Star Wars. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.
See ya.
Attention listener. If you can hear this, then you've tuned in to our top secret radio frequency. But not to be alarmed. Kick back, relax, and enjoy. We're talking about Marvel and DC, but they don't have it all. At Star Wars, that's easy, but you know who to call. I'm talking about ZaneMan Johnny boy,